Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Vergecast. We're recording this, as you may have noticed, on Thursday, October 29th. Mm-hmm. Wherever you are, it's whatever day it is. So that's great for you.
That's always true.
Yeah.
I mean, infallible logic.
Is it? I'm Nilay Patel. I'm joined today by a crew of, I think, Verge All-Stars, some Verge OGs. I got Chris Ziegler.
Yo.
The always excited Chris Ziegler. I got Ross Miller.
Yo.
And then I got Helen Havlak in the hype seat.
Hey.
What's up?
Not too much, Nilay.
I feel like I stole your entire team last week for the hype seat, so I had to bring you back in. But Helen's here. That's exciting. Mm-hmm. It was kind of a huge week.
Surprisingly so. I don't know if we expected this much, like, these random news bits to kind of happen.
Oh, and if you're wondering where Dieter is, he's off. He's starting his own news site where he's just going to review old Palm Pilots.
And the Priv.
Yeah.
And the BlackBerry Priv. No, Dieter took a little break. He's on vacation in Amsterdam.
Yep, he's gone Dutch.
Yeah. He and Lisa are just paying for everything separately. Yep. They're like, that's the only thing they know about Amsterdam. But yeah, so Dieter's on vacation. He'll be back next week. I will say, just me personally, my life is chaotic hellscape when Dieter's not around. I have no idea what's going on. There's just no one to help me.
Dieter
no one
is
to rescue
definitely
me.
a calming force in the office, and without him, you're right, everything goes to hell.
Dieter's probably going to listen to this, so I'm not going to dox him too hard. That is true, but then sometimes when Dieter needs to let it all out, he just calls me and he just yells at me for 5 minutes, and he's like,
"Oh, that's where that side of him
that's
is."
the whiskey.
Yeah.
That's the whiskey.
And he's like, I'm done, moving on. I'm like, good talk, buddy.
I have heard Angry Dieter once in my life and knows about open source.
Ask Dieter about web standards. It's great. It's the best. Anyway, so we're here. Huge week on the site. We muddled through it without our friend Dieter. But we just a ton of news. We should start, I think, with the Apple TV, which I reviewed yesterday, or I put it through review yesterday. Walt reviewed. We also had the Roku 4 review from Lauren earlier this week. And then a couple weeks ago, we did Fire TV 2.
Right.
So just it's that moment in media streaming, I think. I think I've come to the decision that the tech industry, they pick one type of entertainment to disrupt and go all in for a minute, and they're like, and they try another. So they did first it was music in the early 2000s. They're like, all right, and then it's like, well, we screwed with you enough. Now we're gonna try TV for a while, and they're like, all right, we screwed with you again. How about streaming music? And they did that for a while, and now those cycles are accelerating. So I think earlier this year, it was all about music. All we talked about was Apple Music, streaming music, Spotify, and that's calm down a little bit.
Right.
Tidal had a concert.
Tidal had a concert. Then Spotify did its Discover Weekly thing, and now nothing else matters.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, everybody I know who uses Spotify thinks that... Thank you. Everybody I know who uses Discover or Spotify thinks that Discover Weekly is the single most disruptive thing that has ever happened in streaming music, or music, period. It's just the best thing ever.
Really?
Yes. People people look forward to Monday now because they didn't before.
I don't know about that.
Now
Never
they look
before
forward
has
to
Monday
Monday.
been more exciting.
I look forward to Monday just because Monday is the conclusion of my deep, dark Sunday blues.
Oh, well, what are you talking about? The Packers are what, 7-0?
6-0.
6-0.
Soon to be 7-0. No, that's fine.
There's nothing to be said about
no one else
Sunday.
has a Sunday come down. Becky and I talk about this every Sunday. I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, I don't know. Tomorrow's coming. It's that level of darkness.
Yeah, there's.
So you're saying Discover Weekly is
Yeah, it sort of reboots your week in a really happy way.
What's your favorite Discover Weekly thing that you have discovered weekly?
Well, so I don't use Discover Weekly.
Oh.
I'm the only person still using Apple Music.
Yeah.
And I will until the day they shut it down.
So here's a story about how pedantic and crazy Twitter is. They released those numbers. They were 6.5 million people are still using Apple Music. Yeah. And I was like, that seems relatively low considering Apple's install base, their marketing power, all that stuff. So tweeted how many, and I don't think anybody I know is still using it. Tweeted how many people are using Apple Music, and no fewer than 50 random Twitter people were 6.5 million of us, bro.
Wow.
That is a really boring army.
The Apple Music Army.
I mean, I could just be like, why don't you try to share a song with me and then completely defeat your army as you all fumble with your 3-dot buttons.
Hashtag Team Zane.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
We got Hot Long Bling first, though.
You did.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's the the music moment, and I think now we're just in a TV moment.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, but every single new product that you mentioned that has hit the market in the past few weeks is so iterative, right?
Yeah, right.
Just like disgustingly iterative.
Yeah.
Apple would have you believe otherwise, right? But it's...
I mean, maybe later down the line, but yeah, what we got with the new Apple TV right now is not a lot of apps and stuff. Like, it is just the sequel. Everything is like +1 on the number.
Well, no, that's not 100% true.
Okay, well, let's talk about
it. It's true in the terms of like what it is right now. But the big move they made was the first Apple TV ran a weird version of OS X, and then the black ones have always run a weird version of iOS. But they're not actually iOS. They can't. There's no App Store. There's none of this. So they actually, the +1, if you want to call it that, is they made it a real OS that can support apps and does sandboxing and like. So that is a big change. Now that change has no effect on using the thing,
right?
Except for Siri is there, but Siri is like way cut down. It would have been better if Siri was just full on Siri and you could do Siri stuff with it.
Do we know why it's not? Like why they took out like the humor or like the Apple Music stuff?
I don't. It's kind of like they just assume you're gonna have your phone with you, and I think they just want the product to be focused. But it's just funny because it's not Siri, and the idea that it doesn't connect back to your phone or doesn't connect to your iPad or wherever else Siri is, like it's a little bit strange. And there's none of that. Like it doesn't really know about your phone. It's weird. It's running iOS and it's like connected to all these Apple services, but apart from being able to AirPlay your phone to it. It doesn't really care that you have an iPhone, which maybe they want to sell it to people with Android phones, but you would think that there would be some sort of connection there,
right?
But that's a big change, like a really fundamental big change, like in the new remote, which is basically a bunch of iPhone control paradigms, right?
Yeah,
Siri, touch, motion, like that's all the control pieces of an iPhone, like in the remote, right. And then that thing runs iOS, so. That's the big change, but then the actual experience of it is like,
right.
It's a really good Roku.
Right.
The first deck that we had a subheadline. My first subheadline was Apple makes a really good Roku, and I was like, that's a little mean. Like,
but true.
Yeah. I got a text from David Pierce. He was like, why don't you just go with Apple makes a really good Roku? Here's a little more inside baseball. Every time David publishes something or I publish something, we text each other back and forth and call it crap. That's just our
regardless of what it is.
Yeah, I'm like that's real garbage. Like, we edit each other, just fuck with each other. That's as far as I can tell. Like, he published that thing with the Surface Book, and I was like, you should have started it in the middle and reorganized this whole thing.
You should. I mean, at this point, you should escalate to Twitter. Just bring this out to the public.
We know it's there now. We know it exists. But so I'm really curious about the Apple TV apps because you've mentioned a few of them. I haven't gotten it. I did pre-order it. I'm not sure why, but I just had the instinct to hit pre-order and spend money.
Yeah.
What is out there right now? What is worth actually playing?
So there's some game. It's really funny because all the apps are 100% gigantic iPhone apps. Like Periscope is like comedy zone. Like it's just a big iPhone app. But it turns out some of the iPhone games get really fun when you make them huge and you like control them from far away. So there's this game which you can get on your phone right now. It's called Does Not Commute, and like you literally just draw cars and it's a puzzle game.
Right, like you have like 10, 20 cars, like make sure they don't crash that thing. Yeah,
it's neat. So that's really fun on the TV. Jetpack Joyride is really fun.
Crossy Road.
Crossy Road is bullshit. Like, and I don't understand.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
Fuck a Crossy Road. You know what I'm saying?
Are you just an anti-Frogger in general?
No, it's just Crossy Road on the Apple TV. It does the thing. It does the exact wrong thing with the touchpad, right? Where the touchpad is supposed to be like a 1-to-1.
Yeah.
It's like we already learned this with the Wii.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to do a swipe that's really an arrow key because then you might as well just push an arrow key.
So the funny thing,
Crossy Road does exactly that.
The funny thing about that is that it feels like Apple is going through this moment where they have all these new human-machine interface paradigms and they don't have a unified way to give them to people. 3D touch.
Yeah. Right.
Nobody knows what it means yet.
Yeah.
This remote for the new Apple TV, nobody really knows what it means yet or how to use it.
Yeah, they're not doing great on like the first party app. Right? There's no Apple TV app that's like this is the future. Like this is going to set the conversation for all the other, and that's true I think of 3D touch.
Yeah.
Where it's like this is the future of previewing links in the web browser, but that's not it.
Right.
And then it's true on the Apple Watch, which I'm not wearing today.
You're not Lagerfeld?
I've got 3 dead ones upstairs. But it's true. Like the digital crown and Force Touch and all the many ways to use the Apple Watch.
Yeah.
There's no great. They just have all these new paradigms, and they haven't put one person in charge of like build the killer app for this particular paradigm.
Right. That demonstrates all the ways you're supposed to use these features.
Right. And what they'll say to you, which is a fair, I don't know, a fair thing to say, is we don't want to tell app developers. We want to see what the
They've been saying that since iPad 1.
I mean,
and sometimes that's a really fruitful conversation between Apple and developers. Sometimes it's a garbage fire. and I think in some ways the Apple Watch has seen that so
What's
far.
your favorite app on that thing?
Time. It's the face. I'm not kidding. It's the face.
Helen, do you still have your Galaxy Gear? Do you ever wear it?
I haven't worn it in a couple of years. It's the original Galaxy Gear in rose gold.
Yeah.
So it was really fun to wear when no one else had a smartwatch and you could troll people at bars.
Yeah.
Since then, it's very big and not all that useful.
Would you ever get another one?
I would get a smartwatch. I would probably get a Moto 360 if they made them in like smaller sizes for lady wrists.
Yeah.
I could get behind that.
Yeah, that's
So
my
you think
problem
that the
too.
small 360 is still too big?
Yeah.
Yeah, the small 360 is bigger than the biggest watch. Like, and as a dainty wrist person myself, I need the small Apple Watch.
Fair.
Yeah.
What's your favorite app on your Apple Watch?
Weather. It's time and weather. That's all
I'm
I really use
dying.
it for.
If people are listening to this live, will you tweet at me and tell me what your favorite Apple Watch app? But a native app, not like a whatever.
Right.
You know, not one of these bullshit apps. A real. What's your favorite real native app? Just tweet at me, or just tweet anything you want at Ross. He's Ono Roscoe.
Yeah, I'll respond. It won't make sense,
Tweet
but I'll
literally
do it.
anything at Ross.
Yesterday, Sam Shepard just tweeted, "Please respond." Like he was lost.
Well, so
in dire
it
need of
turns out,
human contact.
I got a little more insight into that tweet. It turns out that tweet was actually a poll, which I didn't realize because you can't see polls on anything except.
Oh.
But on TweetDeck, it looks like he's just the most thirsty human being alive.
Oh my god! How many like cries of desperation have actually been polls in disguise?
Yeah, well, today I tweeted burrito.
Isn't that every cry of desperation?
I guess it is, but it's a multiple choice cry of desperation. We didn't realize that.
Right.
Anyhow, so
Yes.
there's new Apple TV. Like, if my take was like, if you need an Apple TV, you should buy this one.
Yeah.
Because it works.
They're
Like,
still offering the old one, right?
they're still selling the old one. I don't know, Helen, hype check the Apple TV.
I think it's equally hype as the Roku. They all seem the same.
Yeah, they're all the same. They all did the same thing, right? They like put a bunch of apps because they can't get the deals to make their own service.
Right.
So like, okay, whatever.
And if Apple can't, no one can.
Or Apple doesn't want to spend the money, which is, does anybody else sit around and imagine what you do to Apple's money? Like if you were just minting money,
Would you buy Beats? Would that be your first move? Because that's what they did.
Yep.
you know, I'd like to hang out with Jimmy Ive more. He's like, Jimmy Iovine's like, hey Tim, thanks for running the company.
That's a great Jimmy Iovine impression.
Really good.
That's really bad. But like, I don't know. Like, don't you think that they could just spend the money to get the deals? And maybe that doesn't make any business sense, and it probably doesn't because they didn't do it. But I always just think, like, what if I just demanded to make things better and spent money until they were? Which is not a good way to run a business. Again.
But isn't that in many ways
is-
Google's mantra?
Yeah.
Like they're spending countless amounts of money on projects that don't have any obvious near-term profitability, right? Things like Calico. The Google car is years away
Wait, is
from...
Calico the one where they just don't want you to
live
die?
forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
They're like, how much money does it cost to be immortal? Just,
Right.
just keep,
Figure
or just
that
keep
one
tossing the money that way.
They're like, all right. There's a scientist somewhere who's like,
Just keep
I'll
giving
figure
me
it out.
money.
You're
I'll
good.
figure it out. Just a guy in a coat, just like, I don't.
Yeah.
Larry Page is
know.
like, how much is it going to cost for me to live forever? Scientist is like, I don't $1 billion.
I don't know. He was like, oh, here, I thought it'd be more. Let me write you a check.
It's terrible. Anyway, finish your thought about Google.
That's all I had.
That's it?
That's it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, no, it's just like Apple could presumably pay the money to like start its own over-the-top cable streaming service. They could presumably not have to buy Beats to get a streaming service and do their own. I mean,
Yeah.
but they're spending money in very targeted ways and making very, I think, conservative bets on the future of media, which is just seems strange to me. Like this, It's funny because this thing is a cube, right? It's like not a very interesting shape, but like to me, the Apple TV is like there's all these constraints and weird little things, and Apple just like inflated the existing Apple TV to fill all of the available space, but they didn't actually move any of the walls.
Right. I mean, like slow and conservative is Apple style. It's like it's why it's not 4K. It's why they wait so long on like USB standards. It's why like all these little like things. It's either a proprietary move or if it's a universal standard. Let's give it 5 years and see like if people actually use it.
Yeah. Well, I think that also explains why they've been rumored to be doing this dance with Comcast for so long, right? I mean, because you go back, what was it, 5, 6, 7 years, Xbox 360 was doing the same thing. It was an IP-based cable box for some regional provider. So they could do that, right? And then they would accomplish their goal by sleeping with the enemy. But can they negotiate those deals themselves?
All right, I've got some favorite Apple Watch recommendations from the Twitter.
Oh.
Dark Sky, Swarm, Fantastic Hell from Zgerma. Anthony D'Onofrio says his favorite watch app is Vimo Golf for string tracking. The runner-up goes to Google Keep. You are crazy.
What?
Wow.
If you are using Google Keep on your watch, on your Apple Watch, you are so deep in the tech hole. Like the, I mean, I appreciate it, and I applaud you. Calendar, remote, stopwatch, watch face. It's watch faces all the way down.
Yeah.
People like using Google Hangouts in their watch, but he's using a Zen watch. That was a troll. You just trolled me into talking about the Zen watch. I hope it's fun working at ASUS. Like I don't know what that's like, but I bet it's a good time.
Damn.
Wow. Shots fired. The first Zen watch was not garbage. The second one seems to be garbage, but the first one was all right.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's funny because you start talking about TVs and we end up talking about watches, but it's the same. It's the same thing. Like it's funny how much discussion of the watch I cut out of the TV review because I reviewed the watch and I was like, this is a new platform for Apple. It could do all kinds of things, but they didn't tell you what to do. And then I was like, here's another new platform from Apple. It could do all kinds of things, but they didn't tell you what. It's like they just did all the same things everybody else.
But there is no looming $1 trillion business roadblock that's stopping the watch from doing what Apple wants it to do. There is with the Apple TV. That's the core difference. Right.
Its name is Brian Roberts, and he's just standing there. He's standing there with a knife at the door of the Comcast building.
Yes.
But it's not even. It's Comcast. Like Comcast is not even in the whole country. Right, like it's Comcast and Time Warner and RCN and Charter and DirecTV. And
well, I don't. Maybe you disagree. I don't think that it's the cable providers that are blocking Apple. It's content providers. I mean, again, Apple's been rumored to be talking to Comcast for a year about just rolling out a box.
No,
they can do that.
So I have the info. I don't know if that's still true, but Walt on Control-Alt-Delete told me that he had heard from Steve Jobs and from Brian Roberts that Apple had been approached to make a cable box for Comcast, that Steve Jobs wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. And then Brian Roberts was like, of course, to authenticate your cable box, you have to use this cable card and this middleware from Cable Labs. And Jobs was like, fuck you. And that was like the end of the conversation. But he just wouldn't use their garbage middleware software to authenticate the box.
Yeah.
Which, fair. Honestly, if Comcast came to me and said, I would like you to base your business on our software, I'd be like, no. Yeah, I would rather just be penniless. Like,
by the way, that's the same conversation that Apple won with the iPhone with AT&T 8 years ago and has never lost since, right? Like, they're still today the only phone maker that they can just do whatever they want with firmware updates.
Yeah. Is this a good time to actually transition to talking about phones?
Yeah, sure.
Should I read an ad?
Yeah, let's read an ad, and then we'll go into phones.
All right. I don't know. Is there anything else to say about the Apple TV? Open floor. 30 seconds. Helen, final thoughts. I don't know. That's a new hype desk thing I'm thinking.
I mean, my TV is like your TV in the review in that it's imaginary.
Wait, so you don't have a TV?
I don't have a TV.
What do you watch television things on?
A laptop.
Really? Mm-hmm. You watch movies on your laptop?
Yep.
Wow. Do you have a TV?
I have 2 TVs in the living room.
Wow.
The Xbox one and the PlayStation one. I don't judge me.
I feel like I should just have you and Chow on the show to talk about what that's like.
That's be incredibly embarrassing.
You know, most TVs have multiple inputs, right?
Yes, but you can't do them at the same time. So someone wants to play Halo and someone wants to play Uncharted. What are you gonna do?
That's what I said. We should have Chow and Ross just talk about what it's like to be in an Xbox PlayStation couple.
You remember when Sony made that TV where you could see 2 things from 2 different angles?
I so wanted that. It was bad though.
That would have saved my relationship. Whatever. I'm not telling you about my TV. It's obviously very cool. I think you all saw it in the review. Chris, what do you have?
Okay, I'm gonna put Nilay in blast here. He actually has like a 25-year-old plasma.
No.
Oh god.
Now I have a new plasma.
What?
So what? So the Kuro is moved to the bedroom.
Yeah.
And then I have a new Panasonic VT60, which I will say looks beautiful. Does not look as good as my Kuro, but it's much larger. So hey, the most garbage software. Like everyone at Panasonic should look at this thing and just be ashamed of what they have wrought. Like you turn it on, it shows you ads by default when you turn it on, so you have to turn that off. It has a camera to use a proprietary video conferencing. So you push it and a camera pops up, but it's just a release and a spring. So when the camera's popped up, that's it.
Yeah.
You have to walk up to it and like tuck it.
If it had a motor inside to pull the camera down, I'd be more concerned.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a very nice looking TV, but literally everybody at Panasonic should not be allowed to make software.
Yeah. So my TV buying decision was made primarily by what I could carry up my 5 flights of stairs by myself. So I limited myself to a 32-inch Samsung, which also shows me ads in real time while I'm watching shows. Like a Dunkin' Donuts commercial will come on, and then I get this like full Dunkin' Donuts experience on my TV.
Oh my god.
And then it stays there for like 3 minutes. It's the worst thing ever.
Wait, is every time you turn on the TV?
No, I'll be watching a show, and a Dunkin' Donuts ad comes on, and then I get an interactive Dunkin' Donuts experience.
That's the future.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's me saying the QVC app is the future.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like finally some interactive TV. Helen just shaking her head at me. That's what every brand wants. They want you to like see the thing on the TV.
You want to
like,
become immersed in the Dunkin' Donuts.
Imagine if while you were watching the Super Bowl, you could just get Bud Light piped directly to you.
Like a motorized straw just comes out of the TV.
It just pops up. This is Panasonic's dream. There's some guy in the lab, like a string and a can of beer. Just like, I'm going to figure this out.
It's a flat screen keg.
Why does he have a string? Someone just told me, Steve Spence, why is Slack your favorite Apple Watch app? Don't do that to yourself. I'm just calling out people directly on Twitter.
And Trello, same thing.
Yeah.
Slack and Trello on the Apple Watch are not acceptable.
No.
Like, fine. City Mapper, says Vincent Rubino.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's actually, I use the City Mapper app. It's good.
And Celebrity Oxford Comma says Celebrity Oxford Comma is his favorite app. But
that's not an app.
It's not an app. But you just got 3 shout-outs, so good job, man.
Yeah.
Celebrity Oxford
I
Comma.
got there. Look, whether you're designing, presenting, writing, or building, Dropbox makes it simple to work together on any file. I don't know if they have an Apple Watch app, but if you're using that on a watch, like, same problem as Slack. Like, anyway, what would you do with Dropbox and the Apple Watch? You would just
You would look at
confirm
files.
the existence of files.
Yeah, look at lists of files.
Oh, those files are there. Thank God. Thank God I've interrupted this conversation rudely. Over 400 million people around the world already use Dropbox. And now there's Dropbox just for your business. Dropbox for Business helps you work the way you want. All the things you love about Dropbox, enterprise-grade security, administrative controls. You can help your team work together on any file type, on any device, presumably watches, simply and securely. There's customizable sharing controls like expiration dates and passwords or shared links. And Dropbox for Business enables your entire team to work they want on any file from anywhere. This line says, please ad-lib what I like best about Dropbox.
What do you like best about Dropbox, Nilay?
It's comforting to me. It's just there. It surrounds you.
You're enveloped by the Dropbox experience.
Yeah, I never think to myself, I can't access my Dropbox.
Yeah,
unless I'm out and about, just rocking my smartwatch. And then I think to myself, I wish I could confirm those files are there.
Well, but with the Apple Watch app that we don't know exists, you can.
Over 100,000 businesses already use Dropbox for Business. Dropbox for Business. It's all yours.
Is there a promo code or?
No. I don't know. I just read this stuff and try not to screw it up quite as badly as I always do. Okay, so let's talk about some phones. So Vlad reviewed the HTC A9. Mm-hmm. Actually, Helen, this is your time to shine because Helen is still using a Galaxy S5.
That's true.
It's an S2.
Helen's got to
so
fascinate. Old. It's real.
It is older than Caitlin.
Wait. Is it an unbranded S2? Because that would be a rare commodity.
Well, the S2 was objectively like better than the S3.
Wow, shots fired.
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay, tell me why.
I have this opinion that the even numbered Galaxy phones are always better.
Wow, this is some Star Wars stuff going on right here.
Yeah. The Galaxy S3 had really bad battery life. It just like didn't feel good. It felt very plastic. Galaxy S4, big upgrade.
Yeah.
Galaxy S5, It's been great. It also looks like someone chewed on the corner because I keep dropping it. So I'm looking forward to upgrading. And sadly, I will be getting, sorry, Samsung, I will be getting a Nexus 5X.
Are you really? That's what you're doing. Okay,
Yeah.
because I'm going to ask you if, because we did the A9, which is basic, like Vlad called it the Android iPhone, which is true.
Yeah.
And then we have the Droid Turbo 2 here.
Yep.
Which
It's so much fun to do.
which is shatterproof.
Yeah.
What the Moto X Force, is that the international version? Was announced this morning.
I don't know. I'm out of that world, man.
Chris, tell me about the coolest Bugatti currently available.
Actually, Bugatti does not currently make a car.
Is it shatter?
They have no models.
Wow, what?
Yep, because the Veyron is out of production and their next model is not released yet.
Tell me about San Diego Chargers kicker Josh Lambo.
Wow, that was just like a long build-up to that.
He got so excited about Josh Lambo that he texted me about him when he saw him on the field.
Oh my
That
god.
was great. He missed a kick in the Packers game. I was like, oh, Lambo missed again. Can't get anything right.
Not a sick Lambo.
No.
He was sick.
Or he was a
a
sick
sick
Lambo.
Lambo.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Helen, why the Nexus?
I like stock Android.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm running like Apex on top of TouchWiz. It's not great.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting stock Android. I've never owned an iPhone.
And you're not
don't
going
really,
to.
and I don't really want one. I don't know what to do without the back button and the menu key.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
just, and I'm really good at swipe. Swipe is my favorite thing.
Yeah, swipe is good.
I am unable to type without swipe. From what I hear, it's still somewhat buggy on the iPhone, although
Yes.
they take third-party keyboards. So I bought my first Android phone because I wanted swipe, and I
Yeah.
thought it was
Wow.
a fun toy, and that's been what's kept me on Android.
But doesn't stock Android, for several versions now, they've had their own version of swipe built into the stock keyboard, right?
That's true, but I've been using Swipe's keyboard. I may revisit that, but I have been using the actual Swipe keyboard.
Wait, why 5 and not 6? Why not do the big phone?
It's really big. I feel like I can't use it with one hand. It's really pretty. Like, it feels great. It's really beautiful. But I think the 5X is like a better size for my
Yeah.
hand. I also like being able to put my phone in my back pocket, even though that means it's constantly falling on the ground. But
So you should get. What's going to happen by the end of this is I'm going to convince you to get a Droid Turbo 2. And then I'm just going to whip this one over across the room.
Don't you mean a
Helen knew this was coming literally before the show started. She said, please don't throw that phone at me.
what carrier are you on?
I'm on Verizon, so I
Oh,
can get
Verizon.
the Droid.
Okay, so you
I was thinking about getting the Moto G because it has really long battery life and it's pretty indestructible. I guess the Droid Turbo 2 is pretty similar.
Yeah, we should go through
Yeah.
it. So, Ross, you want to take us through?
I can't. Chris, can you pass
What,
it back
just-
to me?
It's under some crap. The phone is gone,
fine.
Ross.
yeah.
I mean, so right now we have Jake reviewing it, so I stole Jake's phone for this. But essentially, it is the Moto X. Only now it's
Wait, is that Jake's personal phone that you've been throwing around?
yeah.
No, it's the review unit.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's Jake's personal review unit
Okay.
right now.
Oh, Helen got the phone.
Thanks. You don't have to gently put it down. Just throw
There's
it.
nothing gentle about
Yeah.
that phone. I will say that we've been tossing around just viciously now.
Yeah.
The sides and back of the phone are totally scuffed.
Yeah.
Screen. Did you shatter it yet?
No.
No, so basically, it's a more powerful Moto X. It's
Yeah.
got a newer Snapdragon, but the big thing, of course, is that it's shatterproof.
Yeah.
It's not stab-proof, apparently. I was told not to take a knife to this.
Yeah.
But it is shatter and drop-proof.
Is it fireproof? Can you light it on fire?
No,
Can we
it's,
find
here,
out?
it's shatterproof, so it's got like 5 layers of like glass
Yes.
and aluminum, right? But I will say that one of the things I like best about new phones is how tightly laminated the display is to the cover glass.
Oh, yeah.
And this is just a huge step backwards. Like it's like I can never break this, but this screen is 5 inches away from my finger. You know, like
Yes.
it is a very strange, and it's got like a weird. I'll let Jake do the review, but it's got a weird parallax. Mm-hmm. I'm just really picky about screens.
Yeah, I mean, you're more cognizant of that screen here than you are on things. Wow.
Yeah. So that's that one, and I just think it's funny that droids still exist. Am I crazy for thinking that it's funny? Like that Motorola can be co-opted into giving one of their best devices to Verizon every time and being like, here's a droid.
Well, I think Motorola is in that awkward position where they don't. I mean, they have so little brand leverage that like they just need to do whatever carriers tell them to do, and they have this enormous ongoing deal with Verizon. Verizon is so big that they probably don't even know or understand how to stop making droids. It just happens. There's a contract somewhere that someone signed in 2009. It just keeps happening. And so Motorola keeps getting money for them.
I mean, this one has like this awful Verizon check mark on the front.
But the old school one, too.
Yeah, it's not even the right logo.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, it's so embarrassing. Get out of here. Get out of here, phone.
Done with you.
Huh?
It's so stressful to do that. Every time I do it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to hear that sound, and this is the time it's going to shatter.
I've been wondering why more phones aren't waterproof. Shatterproof is like, I get it. But like, why aren't more phones waterproof? Like, they should be getting tougher now. Like,
You know what's waterproof?
the Galaxy
My
S.
Galaxy S5.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that was the one where they made the ads where it was just like people like holding them
Yeah.
under sinks, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We did some photo shoots in a pool once.
Of course you did.
Wow.
Man, it's gonna be sad for me to not see you with that case on your ass. Like, it's like a real part of like the Helen experience is like the
old Samsung
the old
gear.
Samsung gear. I don't know. I'm just saying. And then you're gonna be a Nexus person. You're gonna be all high and mighty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be walking
And-
around with your stock Android and mediocre camera.
Yeah. Dieter will still make fun of me. Chris will still call it my Galaxy S2.
Oh, yes, I will.
Nothing will
Yep.
change.
Nope.
Dieter has been changing phones so rapidly lately that for a while I just couldn't text him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had that experience too. Yeah.
Like, I just couldn't.
It's like, will it be a blue or a green bubble today?
Yeah.
Let's find out.
No, literally for a while, it was like my phone was just like, you know what, this guy, too hard. Like, will not send.
I get that with Dan too, actually.
Yeah?
Because he keeps going back and forth too.
I am. All right, so then we should talk about the A9. So
Yes.
that's the Droid Turbo 2. I mean, it's a Droid. I would be shocked. Actually, tweet at me about this. Would anybody out there consider buying a Droid Turbo 2? The shatterproof thing is great, but like I think the last Droid people really liked that I encountered was the Max.
Right,
Because
the
it had
battery life is
crazy battery
great.
life.
Yeah.
But now you can get that. Right? Isn't that the Moto X something?
I'm sure it's like the Moto X longevity or something like that. I don't know offhand. I mean, it's fine.
Chris just tweeted, "No, I would not." At me.
He told people to tweet at you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, buddy. Literally, no one is responding to this question. Usually, I say
No.
tweet at me, and people just endlessly tweet at me.
They don't know what to think.
But I was like, "Tell me if you would buy a Droid Turbo 2," and everyone's like, "I'm gonna withdraw that information."
Yeah.
The one thing that sucks about droids, the one and only thing, is that they stopped with the Maxes. I thought that was like a really cool and innovative thing they did. Like, if you want to go ahead and take on the burden of a thicker phone, you can if you want to, and you get the better battery life.
And when we say thicker phone, isn't like it's still probably thinner than anything from 3 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
I wish. I don't know why the entire industry has coalesced around this notion that it is okay to have a phone that you're going to stress about making it through a day with. Like by 7 or 8 p.m., if you've been using your phone a lot through the day, with any phone on the market, basically, you're going to be stressing.
Yep.
And there's no reason for this. Make the phone a 0.5 millimeter thicker and fix the problem.
Well, the industry decided instead we're just going to make a bunch of ubiquitous USB batteries, start making them look a little prettier, and people will just pocket those as like the spare.
For $60.
Yeah, $60.
Oh, there's a Droid Max 2 coming out.
Oh, there is?
Oh.
Yeah. One person said they would buy the Droid Turbo 2.
I would buy the Max.
Yeah.
All right. Well, tweet at me.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we should talk about the A9.
Yes. The iPhone.
It's the iPhone. So the A9 was here. So Vlad reviewed it, obviously in London, but we had one here too.
Mm-hmm.
It looks, and we should talk about this.
Right.
Yes, like HTC did the aluminum design first. Yes, they did ugly antenna lines first.
Yeah. But
this thing is an iPhone. It's like the way to prove that you were the first innovator is to not copy the person who copied you the best.
Right.
And it looks exactly like an iPhone clone, like exactly, except it's a little bit crappier in many ways.
right, some of like the button placement seems a little like off, almost like a manufacturer's defect.
Yeah, like all the ports are just like all over the
Yeah.
place, and the camera is just like it's in the middle, like.
I'm pretty convinced that HTC has been backed so far into a corner at this point that they're actively trolling. And and I'm not even kidding. Like, they're like, you know what? Screw you, Apple. We did aluminum first. We did antenna lines first. We're just going to go ahead and make an iPhone. F it.
Yeah.
Like, and I have a sort of a perverted respect for that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, so the theory that I've heard, which whatever, I don't know if it's true. I honestly don't know if it's true or not. Is that Apple and HTC signed that patent deal a long time ago, and so that there's no restriction on them just copying the iPhone.
Wow. Huh.
Because otherwise, Apple just of course, Apple would. It looks exactly like the iPhone.
Yeah.
But if they have like a license to Apple's design patents, they're usually like, yeah.
Well, they can
we did.
They can sue, but Apple also knows from experience at this point that what will end up happening is 5-year-old phones get barred from sale, which is what happened with Samsung.
Yeah. No, you're never going to be able to buy Galaxy Fascinate ever again. The Fascinate's my favorite one. Like, of all of the phones that came out, like, the Verizon Fascinate was so obviously the one that was designed for Verizon to have an iPhone thing.
Yeah. That was before they launched the iPhone.
Yeah.
Oh god,
that was the one. That was the one that it was just like, Samsung, you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
like you know what you did. Like the one, what was the one in AT&T?
The Captivate.
Yeah,
God,
the Captivate was like dope.
There was an Armani version of that phone.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
The Captivate was really cool.
Yep.
It was like squared off. It looked really neat. Mm-hmm. And the Fascinate was like,
was an iPhone.
What if we made an iPhone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember all 4 carriers had different named versions of that same phone.
Right.
What was your first phone, Helen? Your first smartphone, modern smartphone?
It was the HTC Incredible 2.
Ooh, that's a
Wow.
good one.
Yeah, it was a good phone. And you know what? If HTC had stuck with removable batteries,
Yeah.
they may have tempted me away from the Nexus, but nothing has removable. I can't even say that word. Removable batteries anymore, which
Yeah.
is tragic.
Wow.
Wait.
This does.
No, something.
I always carry an extra battery. It's amazing.
Something still.
What
has
we're learning on the
removable
show is that Helen is the deepest phone nerd on our side.
Yeah.
Like the deepest. Helen is behind the iVerge hashtag. Helen's the ringleader. She's our own personal gamercade.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ouch. Oh, ouch.
Sorry, well, it's on the sheet.
I am the front lines of like dealing with iVerge. Even my brother does nothing when he sees me except say iVerge every 10 minutes just to mess with me.
Wow.
And I'm saying, what if that's you? What if you're Big Boss?
But
What if you're Big Boss?
It's just a Metal Gear reference. Don't worry about it. That's cool. I'm just saying, what if there's a shocking twist?
yeah.
And you are all of our YouTube subscribers.
Wait. There's only one way to solve this. Hype check iVerge.
Ooh. Can
Bust.
she do it?
Bust.
All
No,
right.
wait, that's not. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever. We'll let it go.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Real
We'll let it
brand
go.
pollution.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sam.
I was looking at YouTube comments on the Apple TV review last night, and
Yeah.
definitely like people were like, "Who's this guy?" And one guy was like, "He's the CEO of The Verge," and I was like, "Yeah, that's what I am."
You're Big Boss.
That's it. I am the CEO of iVerge, as it turns out. Of course, that's what I am. All right, let me read one more. We should talk about South by. We should talk about some other stuff. Chris, is there more stuff to say about these phones? I feel like a lot of other stuff happened this week.
I have nothing else to say about these phones. Gonna be real with you.
We should talk about the Tokyo Motor Show a little bit, maybe. I feel like a lot of other things happened this week.
It's been a week.
Yeah.
It's like been a crazy week, and there's just when we have these crazy weeks, it's like my entire focus is like, I'm gonna think about gadgets because they'll keep me safe. Nothing can go wrong here. All right, let me read this thing, and then that's this one. Oh man, it's our friends.
Oh yeah.
It's our friends in the cloud. SoftLayer delivers a cloud built for integration. This is so wrong. I'm going to keep going. Your business, applications, and computational workloads are unique. So you deserve cloud services that meet your specific needs. I honestly can't keep doing this because I don't know if I can say the words provisions dedicated servers in that voice and not lose it. SoftLayer is one of the only cloud providers that provisions dedicated servers and virtual servers, otherwise known as the public cloud, from a single seamless platform. All of this is on demand, all of it's connected to the same open API, all of it's connected to a global private network. This allows you to scale your workloads up and down quickly. That would have been really bad in the voice. And have ample space for your storage-intensive tasks. SoftLayer, as you well know, is an IBM company. Duh. In fact, IBM uses SoftLayer as its cloud infrastructure foundation for everything in the IBM cloud. So even if you're not looking for infrastructure, and honestly,
Who isn't?
duh. I mean,
Yeah.
as CEO of the iVerge, I can tell you that every day I think about my infrastructure needs. You can benefit from SoftLayer when you use IBM stuff. So all of our listeners have the opportunity to get $500 of cloud infrastructure by visiting softlayer.com/podcast. You can order bare metal servers. You can order virtual servers. You can get storage, networking, bizarrely candy apples. It's weird. And SoftLayer has 24 data centers around the world. All of the servers and services are connected to SoftLayer's unique network of networks, which separates public, private, and management traffic. So all of those networks and all the traffic to and from your cloud infrastructure is more efficient. You can also automate and control your cloud infrastructure with a granular API or on the easy-to-use SoftLayer customer portal. You can also just walk outside, scream at the sky. It works.
Old man yells at clouds.
It's clouds! It's amazing.
Why aren't you sinking?
Separate my management traffic. It's really weird at data centers across the country, actually. People are like, I got to go fix the cloud.
Yeah.
It's the worst joke. Yes, just please, God, visit softlayer.com/podcast. I'm assuming, by the way, that many of you constantly are buying SoftLayer stuff because they keep coming back. So thank you so much to softlayer.com/podcast for existing, for SoftLayer, for just putting up with this, and for you for consistently buying $500 worth of server storage, network, and security on a cloud built for integration from SoftLayer.
Can we talk about clouds for a minute? The runaway blimp, I think, really captured our imagination.
Oh God, the loose blimp! Yes, it's been such a week.
Did we cover the runaway blimp?
We did.
We did, and there's this picture of it crashing in Pennsylvania. It looks like a Led Zeppelin album cover, where it's like there's just this it's at this weird angle and it's just it's bearing down, and it looks terrifying. And it did actually, all kidding aside, take out power for 20,000 people. So
that's not good.
No, it's not
good.
Okay,
so I was busy with the video crew making the Apple TV video. Tell me, let's get into
the blimp.
The alert response of the blimp. So where did we first see the blimp? Do you know? I'm assuming it popped on social.
I think I saw. Yeah, it was on Twitter. There was a fire department somewhere in Pennsylvania that said, "If you see this blimp, call 911."
So.
I want a TikTok of how the Verge newsroom responded to a runaway blimp.
Chris has a Twitter alert for all things blimp. So
yes. Yes, and it was an APB for this blimp. Call 911 if you see it. So so we did a little investigation, found out that it had come off its tether and it had become a rogue airship.
Is that like an official?
Yes.
That's that was the president's rejected Secret Service name.
Right.
It's rogue airship.
When the president is aboard the plane, it's Air Force One. When he's not, it's
rogue airship.
So
his Secret Service name is Renegade.
Is it?
Obama's
really?
Secret Service name is Renegade.
That's a good name.
It's his chubby brother. His name's Rogue Airship.
That takes me back to in the last Republican debate when they were all asked to say what their Secret Service name would be, and some were I think it was Ben Carson didn't even understand the question.
Right.
He said some. But anyway, so yeah, this rogue airship was traversing the Northeast and then it came down, and
the internet was done being captivated for the day.
Did it come down by force, or was it just?
No, I think it just naturally
just got tired.
Yeah.
It had a really good Twitter account at Aberdeen Blimp.
Oh, really?
There were
you could follow it on Twitter.
Twitter accounts.
Did they shoot it down?
No, I think it just came down. They wouldn't shoot it down in a way that would cause it to take out 20,000 people's power. I don't think.
Right. Type check the blimp.
Hype. Yeah, great.
Hype check the blimp and the runaway goats.
No, llamas.
They're llamas.
Yeah.
The runaway llamas.
I mean,
no one cares about a goat that runs away.
Yeah, llamas are cooler than goats.
Yeah, for sure. They have longer necks.
All right, that's the Vergecast. All right. It's just, it's weird to miss these things that captivate Twitter. We always say the internet, but it's really just Twitter.
Yeah.
Right? It's really just the tiny number of people who use Twitter who are
like,
we're the internet.
And it is a tiny number. Twitter's earnings this week, 60 million monthly actives.
And they're not growing at all.
Kind of stagnant, yeah.
It's funny because I was going to say tweet at me if you use Twitter, but...
I mean, that's...
I don't know. I don't know how to solve that problem. Why do people use Twitter? Why do you have Twitter open?
because that's where news breaks, right? I mean, our news team relies on Twitter to do its job.
Yeah, I mean, I think all news gatherers have like made a social contract saying we're just going to put it on Twitter, let everyone know it's happening, but you don't really get like a lot of response other than that.
Right.
And being narcissist, it's like, oh, you're talking to me.
Yeah. Well, Twitter's one of the few like real time.
Right.
I don't know.
It's great during the debates.
Real-time things,
it's great during like baseball games and stuff.
Well, to bring it all the way back to the Apple TV, one of the things I said was there's not a single app on the Apple TV that actually enhances watching TV as much as just having Twitter open on your phone.
Right.
And I think that's actually one of the biggest challenges because all the idea of convergence in the 90s, and I've had like virtually every one of these boxes, right? I've had a web TV. That's where the IR Blaster, that's my deep genetic hatred of IR Blasters came in. So we had a web TV. We had, we had the original TiVo at a Windows Media Center, which was just never worked ever. I had every Google TV, which was a stupid idea. Just down the line, I had a Boxy Box. Do you know what kind of drunk idiot you have to be to have a Boxy Box
in your life?
You had
both Boxies, didn't you?
Oh, the Boxy Box and the Boxy TV was such a bad product that I couldn't review it.
That's right.
And I honestly didn't know how to begin the review of the product. Like, it is a box. Boxy made it. It does nothing. Like, there was nothing to evaluate.
That sounds
like,
objective.
It's just like, but because they're like,
yeah.
Like, how would you review a car with no engine?
Well, technically, any EV doesn't have an engine.
Yeah.
God damn
Or
it.
like the Flintstone mobile.
No, but if it was just a car, it was like the shell of a car, and you got in it, and other people whispered ideas to you about movement. Like that was the Boxy TV.
I will say that the Boxy Box to this day still has the coolest industrial design of any device ever.
Yes.
It's like a sinking cube,
Yeah.
which is what the
It's
company
very metaphorical,
was.
actually.
That was the one. I mean, like I'm just saying that the living room space is like it's been such a disaster for so long. Like Logitech almost stopped existing.
Yeah.
Because the CEO of Logitech was like, you know what? We're finally going to do it. We're going to partner with Google and we're going to put crap under your TV, running some fork of Android.
Yeah.
And
then
it almost destroyed the company.
Within like 6 months, you could get Logitech's Google TV thing for like $10 at Best Buy.
Yeah. Right. And they went all out. I actually, here's a little window into my personal life. I've been sternly instructed by my wife that this weekend is the weekend in which my office will be, like all of the old gadgets will be removed because it was just like out of control in there. And one of them, like she like showed it. She's like, what the fuck is this webcam for a Google TV? And she's like, there's no value here. I don't think she knew it. She was just like holding it up. She's like, what is this? And I was like looking at it. And I was like, I can't even begin to explain to you why we have this product in our home. But so all of them, like over and over and over again, like so like in the 90s when Microsoft, and almost as always Microsoft, they're like, we're going to put a PC under that TV. Mm-hmm. And they would fail. But none of them had to deal with the fact that you had a phone in your hand. And now that you've got a phone or a tablet or a laptop almost certainly with you when you're watching television, it's even harder to see why you want something interactive on your TV.
Well, so the closest thing to being what I want, and you're going to vehemently disagree with me on this, is Xbox Snap. Because the problem is that they never used it for anything useful. There's still, correct me if I'm wrong, Ross, I don't think there's a Twitter app for Xbox One that works with Snap. There's Twitter integration that lets you upload video clips, but like game clips,
right.
But there is no timeline that you can snap to the side of the
but
display.
But that also begs the question, why would you want to read on a big TV?
Because then you have that second screen experience without having to hold the phone or the tablet, right? It's just that you see it, like scroll by.
But that just is like, what if I was the idiot who controlled the Cryon under the television news? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I would rather like look at my phone than put it down, like watch TV.
Yeah,
like what would you put over there?
Your Twitter timeline. So if you're watching the VMAs, you don't have to look at your phone and post your quip. You can just say Xbox post quip.
and then the Cortana auto generates a quip based on your groans.
Cortana, take two mildly relevant topics from the news. craft joke, mashing them together, post to Twitter.
Now that's the future.
Yeah.
Just make me funny. Please, God, Alexa, make me funny. I haven't done this. I've been meaning to walk into my door and just say, Alexa, help, and see what she says. She's always there.
Yes.
All she really can do is set timers and play Wilco. That's pretty much what I ask her to do. It's remarkably useful.
I have it integrated with my Hue system, so it can control all my lights.
Oh, that's smart.
We didn't get into this. So Chris is dumb.
We've gotten into that.
Yeah, that's not new.
But I think it's safe to say if you've been listening to the show and you know our long shared history, I love Chris. Love working with Chris. Chris is so wrong about the Harmony remote that it's like threatening the fabric of our relationship. Because he posted this review to our site that was like glowing review of the new Harmony. They finally got it. It's great.
I
Control
never said
the hue lights.
I never said
Chris
they
is like
they
living
finally
in like
got
a
it.
disco world at home. He's like changing colors for his Harmony remotes.
I never once said they finally got
So
it.
I did. I had this like weird. How do you pronounce it? Lifex.
What?
I have a weird Wi-Fi light bulb that I never.
Oh,
installed.
yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, so I bought the Harmony because I was like, I got this Harmony one. The battery's dying.
Yeah.
The paint is rubbing off the front. I mean, the thing's like garbage. So I was like, I'm gonna buy the new one because Chris says it's good.
Yeah.
I sent it back. Like immediately sent it back.
No.
It is garbage.
What are your specific complaints with it?
Okay.
Let's go through them.
It is not a remote control. It is an attempt to hack everything in my home with a weird Wi-Fi hub and shitty software in the form of a black plastic box that sometimes has some relationship to a remote control that is badly designed.
But that box is your friend.
My friend sucks at his job.
No. So the box is very important. The hub, the Harmony
The
hub.
Harmony hub.
This box is important for a couple reasons. One, it makes it so you don't need line of sight to any of your devices. So if you want to hide them behind a credenza, for instance, which many of us
Top
do.
of my list.
No.
God, I gotta get a credenza. 1, acquire credenza. 2, hide everything behind it.
Not only does the hub itself emanate IR in every direction, so it can control a lot of stuff without needing to get a signal from the remote. You can do that, but it also has 2 ports for IR blasters in the back that you can string wherever you want.
Yeah, that's the future.
That's great.
But on top of that, the Elite, as with the Ultimate before it, also has an IR blaster on itself, so you don't have to blast through the hub. You
can't not have the hub.
Right.
Correct.
And the hub and the software associated with the hub and the iPhone app and the cloud backend, all of that is
You
trash.
never have to touch the iPhone app except to set it up. Then you're done. You're done after that. You're done.
The iPhone app is one of those apps, and this is it. This is a hard Verge editorial stance. If your iPhone app hasn't been updated for the iPhone 6 and it still has the gigantic menu bar,
I'll give you that.
Your company is stupid.
I'll give you that.
And you should be out of business.
I will absolutely give you that. That is fair.
It's a hard fact. It means you hate me.
You hate your customers.
You hate your... Come on. Anyway. So I set it up. And I try to turn something on. And it screws up. And then I push the help button, which is what you're supposed to... And then it's reflashing your remote from the Harmony cloud. The last thing in the world a remote control should do is connect to the cloud to figure out how to turn my TV on. That is not acceptable.
So a couple things. I'm a hub veteran because I had the
hub veteran. I had Stockholm syndrome.
I had the Harmony Ultimate beforehand, which uses basically the same hub.
Yeah.
So that sync will happen occasionally at random, but it is not. It doesn't happen every time you hit help. You just ran into a bad situation. You had a bad moment.
Yeah, and then I put it back in its box, and I sent that bad moment back to Amazon and received my $350 back.
If you had spent...
And then I had a great moment with my $350, where I considered it in my life.
I think, first of all, I will admit with you that the remote situation in general...
Helen is not convinced by you.
Hype check. Harmony Elite.
Don't get her involved.
She's not.
Wait, no, I didn't even ask you. No, rewind. I didn't ask you.
You can't take it back.
Look, I will admit that the remote situation in general is desolate.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's the only one you can buy.
It's the only one you can buy. There aren't that many good. There's things
You
like
can also
Peel.
buy used Harmony ones on Amazon.
The
and
hub
eBay.
is the dock is too big. It's long. It's got a long dock.
This one has like a cup.
Yes.
It's
the cup is
stupid
better. No,
idea.
the cup doesn't take up
It's a
space on
charging
your
cup.
The cup takes
Helen
up no
is
space.
never coming back on this show again.
There's no space required for the cup. Lots of space required for the long dock.
All right. And that I'm just saying, stupid product. Logically, I'll come to your house wherever you live, and I will help you make a better remote.
Logitech does not have a home.
Clearly,
it's like
because they made this garbage remote that has no sense of how people live. Build a house, Logitech. I'll come to it.
I will say that our review products manager, William Savona, good friend and coworker of ours, bought the Elite at my recommendation.
Yeah.
The first one that he bought was defective, so he sent it back. He had it replaced. The second one was defective, so he sent it back. And he's currently waiting for his third
Are
one.
you sure it doesn't work right? And he just has good taste.
But he keeps re-getting it.
No, he says the hub doesn't work at all. So, I mean, actually...
Which is
you might
also
be,
what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah, you might be right.
I do find it interesting that Apple did not even try to make a universal remote. Like, there's nothing about the Apple TV remote that it just assumes that you have other remotes.
Right.
Right. They have the volume keys on there because they know that if you're using Apple TV, you probably want to change the volume.
Yeah, it's like if all you had was a television and the Apple TV, it could be your only remote. If you never watched
Anything
cable
else.
channels, yeah.
Right.
But otherwise, yeah.
But it's funny because I actually got into a fight with Apple. Like, I was in the briefing, and I was like, why doesn't it have a power button? And they're like, we don't need a power button. We'll just turn on your TV with HDMI CEC, which is a fine, although idealistic answer. And I was like, but most people don't have it. And they're like, most people do. And I was like,
Wow.
okay. So I get home, HDMI CEC, garbage standard, doesn't work well. Doesn't work with my receiver and stuff. It got to the point where Apple was like sending me pages of my receiver's instruction manual to like walk me through. And rebooted it, like reset it. It worked for a little bit, but fine. So you can get it all to work. But then what happens is it's a huge touchpad with a button. So it's super easy to click. And if you just accidentally click it while it's lying on your couch, everything will just turn on.
Yeah.
Which is not a good thing. Or if you're watching something else, it'll just switch you to the Apple TV. It's like a Trojan horse. It's like always lurking to be like, Apple TV?
Yeah.
Which is why you have a power button, because that allows you to choose to turn things on.
Yeah.
I suspect the next version of this thing has a power button. It can't not. Too many people are going to be annoyed by how this thing behaves with CEC. Because it just wants to, like, if you have it around, you will accidentally push one of its buttons.
I welcome Apple's involvement in the universal remote world. If they put their mind to making a universal remote,
It's never going to happen.
No.
Yeah, no, but the Apple TV remote with a power button and a couple extra buttons would be 80% of
What
the way
extra
there.
buttons?
And then
So how
what
many
about
to
like
keep
a
adding?
hub that can blast IR in every direction and control your hue lights?
That's a really good idea.
God.
No.
All right, so that. Oh my God, Helen's here. Helen's like she can engage. Usually it's like Nicola who's like, I don't know, look at The Verge on stuff.
Yeah.
But engage.
Yeah. Well, so you can follow The Verge lots of places. You can follow The Verge on Snapchat, The Real Verge. You can follow The Verge on Periscope at Verge, Twitter at Verge. You can follow us on YouTube at The Verge. Subscribe.
Tell them about your Instagram situation.
Oh, yeah. We just broke 200,000 followers on Instagram. We are about to pass some of our rivals on Instagram.
Mashable.
We're
Sam.
we are
Sorry,
we are
Sam.
we are
Coming for that
only
gram.
we are only 4,000 followers behind Mashable right now. We're growing at about twice the rate.
Yeah.
If you follow us on Instagram at Verge,
Also
you will
unfollow
help
Mashable.
me. You will help me. You will help me in this quest.
Wow.
If any of you can find 4,000 people to immediately unfollow Mashable and follow The Verge, that would be choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, it would only have to be 2,000 technically.
Yeah. But actually, like 2001, because you really need to like.
Sure.
Not tie. Sorry, we're like this is like quantitative shots fired.
So
I'm
that was the
sorry.
Vergecast. And I'm
Yay.
saying we've broken some phones, we've broken some hearts. We're going to crush Mashable. Thank you so much for listening. hit us up on iTunes. Please rate us. Also check out Vergecast with Emily and Liz. What's Tech with Chris Plant this week. It's on Minecraft, which is fun. And Walt and I actually, the new episode of Control Walt's Elite is up, or it should be up by the time you're listening to this. Walt and I actually talked about Apple TV for about 45 minutes. Actually, we went really deep on it. So all that's at itunes.com/The Verge. Thank you so much for listening. I need to thank Braintree for sponsoring today's episode of The Vergecast. Braintree gives you a full stack payment solution, support for all payment types your customers might want. You can start accepting Android Pay, Apple Pay, PayPal, Bitcoin, Venmo, cards, whatever's next, with a single integration across every platform you have. There's superior fraud protection, customer service, and fast payouts. So check it out for yourself. Visit braintreepayments.com/Vergecast. Get some money in your pocket. That's it. Rock and roll.